Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. I'm trying to be brief in this video. I want to cover a couple different tweet threads here. Starting with this one from Eleanor Torres says, here's an exact excerpt from the SEC Gov's Conduct of Ethics Code. He says, all employees must submit speeches for review to general counsel. My SEC sources tell me the ethics office never reviews speeches as the law deems it the responsibility of the GC. Quote, employees are expected to know what they can and cannot talk about. Ethics can counsel them on matters, but they cannot enforce. This makes me think that Hinman's speech not getting screened by the ethics office was maybe not so unusual, that the responsibility would have rested with the GC. XRP Crypto Wolf says, I bet William Hinman and Jay Clayton really want the Ripple lawsuit to conclude so the XRP community will stop bringing them up. Constantly stop digging for more information, connecting the dots. Moving on, this is from Johnny Deaton. It says, dude, did you really just say Ripple is the parent company of XRP? Let's take a listen into what Lark Davis says here in regards. It says, can 10,000 XRP make you rich? Let's take a quick listen into this.
Can 10,000 XRP make you rich? Kind of. Maybe. Not really. Let me explain. You see, XRP did make a lot of people rich in 2017. It went from half a cent to $3.40. Insane gains. But XRP last bull run didn't really do much. Every other asset exploded to new all-time highs, put in massive gains. But XRP did not. The reason being that the SEC is suing Ripple, the parent company. That uncertainty has killed XRP's price. If they win the case, then XRP will probably moon, and while 10K XRP may not make you rich, it will make decent returns. But if they lose the case, say good night.
Coming down here, Moon Limbo says, oh, yes, he did say that. He says, you just said this in the clip that Ripple is the parent company of XRP. How can any decentralized cryptocurrency have a parent company? Even if such a thing were possible, how could Ripple be the parent company of XRP when XRP was created before Ripple? I mean, straight up, I love that people say that. Maybe he just said that, maybe it's taken out of context. He was just kind of talking fast. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought it was quite interesting. Moving on here. This is from Riz XRP says, live to agree and disagree. Hashtag 88 corruption is very clear within my lens, SEC XRP community. So this is Charles Hawkinson's from Cardano, and then this is Tony Edwards from Thinking Crypto. Let's take a listen into this. I think it's quite interesting. Really listen into what Charles says in regards of the XRP community members.
Switch gears and talk a bit about the crypto market at large. Folks wanted me to ask you, what do you think about what's happening with the SEC and all they're doing with crypto regulations? A lot of people not happy with Gary Gensler, the recent Kim Kardashian PR stunt, as well as the SEC Ripple lawsuit and the judge's, takes on what's been happening there as it relates to Ethereum and, the amicus briefs and things like that.
Yeah. Well, there's some people in the XRP community that are trying to invent this grand conspiracy that there was blatant corruption between the insiders at the SEC and Ethereum. And, I don't honestly think that that's the issue here. I think the issue is that both the CFTC and the SEC are ill-equipped from law and policy to properly regulate the cryptocurrency space. And so what they're doing is they're just trying to do it the way that they think they can with the framework they have. The SEC only has the ability to regulate if something is a security. If it's not, then it's not their wheelhouse. And so they're one of the very few US regulatory bodies that has a consumer arm because everyday people own stock. And so they have lots of people, they have lots of enforcement capabilities. And let's be honest here, Luna happened. Yeah. BitConnect happened. OneCoin happened. Okay, so thousands of cases every year of bad behavior have occurred in our industry, and the losses have gone from millions to billions to almost $1 trillion in under 13 years, faster than any industry before. And usually when you have an agency failure in the tens of billions of dollars, it does result in the creation of new law. A great example of that would be the collapse of Enron that led to Sarbanes-Oxley, or the 2008 financial crisis, which led to the Dodd-Frank Consumer Protection Act. Okay, so what's happened is the legislative branch hasn't done its job. They haven't showed up and they haven't passed new laws to give new powers, new bureaucracies, new standards to properly regulate the crypto.
You know what? Shout out Tony Edwards and even Charles Hawkinson. I'm not saying that he's wrong for what he said. I think he kind of spoke out of turn to call, XRP community members conspiracy theorists based on all the facts and evidence that's been presented, that we presented in the community when it comes to applying the timeline. It's completely wrong, first of all. And for someone that is a part of the, Ethereum Foundation and the co-creator, and someone that didn't accept the Ethereum tokens like the rest of the members did of the creation, he already knows there's already some shady stuff going on off the rip. So for him to even speak on conspiracy theory, it's absolutely nuts. He's seeing what's going on within the industry in general, but especially when it comes to the XRP community, he knows what's going on. He's been in the inside. He's in the know. So maybe he's protecting himself. Maybe he doesn't want the target on his back. I've seen members coming down here. I've seen members in the community actually talking about, maybe he just doesn't want the target on his back. Obviously, he's trying to really build up Cardano 88 and get his blockchain and get his stuff rolling. Rightly so. But to come out and just blatantly say, hey, there's members within the community that are conspiracy theorists that's saying there's some conflicts of interest and some corruption. I mean, straight up and down, ETHgate is real, and we've been proving it not from our opinions, from facts, from video footage and audio footage and documents of the people within governments, the SEC, the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, all those different things. It's not our opinion; it's straight facts. So there's no conspiracy theory there. They're just upset that we've literally pieced together everything in a chronological timeline, because of their gloating and their bragging. None of this would be a thing if they weren't out there gloating and bragging in these interviews. But still, shout out Charles Hawkinson and Tony Edwards for doing great work on Thinking Crypto. Coming out here, Johnny Deaton says, I'd like to know if Charles is including me as someone peddling conspiracy theory, which is quite interesting because Johnny Deaton is leading over 74,000 members within the class action lawsuit, going after the SEC for its wrongdoing. So is he classifying, Johnny Deaton, the attorney who's actively practicing law in our communities? He's saying, oh, he's a conspiracy theory too. Or is it a said, group of individuals within the community? I'm very curious about that. I doubt that he's, attacking Johnny Deaton with that. But he says, because all I have done is provide actual facts for every single comment that I have made. I tweeted this 1 year ago, and everything I've said had been proven. So this isn't in dispute. He's talking about all the facts. Says these are the facts that are not in dispute. And we've already went over this time and time again. I highly recommend, if you need to familiarize yourselves, come in here to Johnny Deaton's tweet thread and click into this. That's all the information that's there. I think there's video, audio, everything's in there. He continues. He says, there's a little bit here. He says, it's a fact that Hinman was told he cannot have contact with his firm because he was an ongoing profit sharing partner, but he continued to meet with his firm, who was a member of the EEA, the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Those are facts, Charles. Clayton's law firm represented Lubin in Consensus. Facts, Charles. Why did Hinman send an email to Joseph Lubin? At Hinman's deposition, it was suggested it was Clayton's request. Sullivan and Cromwell represented Joseph Lubin in Consensus. The deputy GC of Consensus was hired by Joe shortly after Clayton's appointment as chair, a brilliant move. On December 13th, SEC met with Consensus. Next day, Matt Corvus stated Consensus was building an alliance with the SEC and the CFTC. I don't blame them, as this is the smart thing to do. On December 20th, 2017, Joe met with him and again 3 more times up to June 8th, days before the speech. And he's talking about the Ethereum Free Pass by William Hinman. He continues, on March 26, 2018, A16Z lawyer Lowell Ness sent a legal memo in safe harbor. ETH is the only token mentioned. March 28, Lowell Ness and others met with Hinman asking for ETH to be given a regulatory pass. Hinman now is a partner with A16Z, which is no coincidence, right? He continues, and after Hinman's 6th meeting with SEC promoters within 5 months, including less than a week before the speech, Hinman says, quote, when we look at ETH, we don't see a third-party promoter. At the time Hinman gave the speech, he was still partners with Simpson Thacher, a member of the EEA. The SEC Ethics Office said that not me or my fellow conspiracy theorists. Those are just a few facts that can be disputed. Joe Grunkfest helped the ETH founders, and he sent a letter himself to Clayton saying that if he filed the case against Ripple claiming XRP as a security, it would, quote, call into question the SEC use of discretion. That means motive. I guess Grunkfest is a conspiracy theorist also. He continues, if anyone were to say, quote, I think the ETH folks did anything wrong by asking for regulatory clarity or even a free pass, I wouldn't take issue with it. If Hinman would have met with Ripple 6 times in 5 months and said XRP wasn't a security, I'm sure Brad Garlinghouse wouldn't say don't. These conflicts of interest are so great that SEC told him he couldn't even be at the same conferences or meetups. He couldn't meet, email, or call them. We can prove he did after being told this by his own emails. He met with his partner Chin about the IPO for Canaan. So we went over all this, and he's talking about the IPO that had direct correlation and influence when it came to Ethereum and Bitcoin products. I think it was like mining products or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's clear. It's quite evident. There's no conspiracy theory here, which is absolutely astounding that he actually said that. And this is Charles Hoskinson, who's supposed to be for the industry, supposed to be for the, you know, the welfare and health of the entire crypto space. You know, obviously he has his own blockchain and his own his company, but for him to come out and say, yeah, we're just going to generalize this, say, you know, there's some members out there in the XRP community that are, you know, conspiracy theorists with all these things. It's like, no, hashtag ETHgate is a real thing. It's there. It's facts. I'm going to end on this. I thought this was interesting. This is Kevin Cage. He says, do I think XRP comes out of lawsuit on top? Yep. Do I have a effing clue when that will be? Nope. But I hope it's by the end of 2023. Gents, what's the probability or percent that we reach a settlement by the end of 2023, whether positive or negative? Could it last much longer? Thanks for all you do and all the other attorneys I'm missing. So he shouted out a lot of love to the members within the community. John Deaton said, Kev, if there's no settlement between the SEC and Ripple and it goes to a decision by Judge Torres, I would expect her ruling between March 30th and June 30th of 2023. So I wanted to put that on there because that's just light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we understand that there's some sort of timeline in regards of, you know, based on litigation when it comes to motions and all these different things. That's jargon that is way over my head. But we know that there's an end game here. So we're not just guessing, oh, it's years and years. It's like, no, there's a timeline or a framework, if you will, when it comes to this litigation. So it's good to see that. And quite honestly, most of it that's following this channel or that's following, you know, Johnny Dean or other members within the XRP community, we're here to stay for the long haul. So it's just a matter of when this thing takes off, not if. But that's what I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversations YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. I really appreciate you guys' support. I'm going to keep bringing you content. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.